In this video, we're going to create this cumulative frequency curve. All right. So notice that you will start from 0. So let's select the second last tool, which is under statistic graph. And then you will click and drag the graph size that you want. Right click, key in the data 0 to 10. And you realize that by default, it will change to a group data. So if you right click, you can also set to group. And then this one by default will now set to frequency. Again, you can right click and set to frequency. So once you key in the first data at 0 to 10, for example, it will automatically convert it to the correct settings. So 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, and finally 60 to 70. So we are going to key in the absolute frequency, okay, which will be 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 2, and 1. So what we'll do now is we will select this as our cumulative frequency curve. Please do not select the one at the bottom. It must be the one here, which is the cumulative frequency plot. Press OK. Select the data column to be B. Now, sometimes there's some weird green line that will come out. If you do not like those green line, you can just later select this as white color. Okay, and that will solve the problem. Now, if you press OK, the scale will not be correct. So right click again. Let's change all the axis and scale. Now for the x-axis, we want it to be number of books. And we don't want to italize it. For the y-axis, we want it to be cumulative frequency and do not italize it. Scale. We want the x-axis to go from 0 all the way to 70. Okay, here. So for every 2 cm, we will have 10 units, and therefore this will be 1. Now for the y-axis, it will add up to about 18. So 3, 6, 11, 15, 18. Yep. So we will go from 0 to 18. Now we want it to be 2 cm, 2 units. Okay, so that it's easier to count later. So 2 cm, 2 units. So this will be 2, and this can be 0.2. So after which, then you can now click on fixed. Now do not click on fixed before you key in the maximum minimum, as you will not be able to do that now. So after which we will key it. So since we have, for the x-axis was 2 cm, 10 units. So 10 units is 2 cm, which is 20 mm. So 20 divided by 10, we have 2 mm for 1 unit. Now as for the y-axis, we will have 2 units for 20 mm. So 1 unit is 10 mm. All right. If you use this way, it will be proportional. And if you press OK and press OK again, this will be your cumulative frequency curve. And if you look at the squares, it is proportional here. So what you'll do now is right click. Okay, right click on the curve. So one thing we have not done on purpose is we have not clicked on the cumulative frequency curve. And now we want a smooth curve. All right, so this will change, okay, the straight lines to a smooth curve. Press OK. And here you will have a nice looking cumulative frequency curve. So likewise, you can also adjust the grid and set as default until, okay, you are happy with what you want. For example, the grid, the lines, the size, the colors, the thickness, and so on. And once you're done, remember to set as default. Okay, just now the 18 was cut off. So what I did was I increased the range to 20. So let's say you want to adjust this cumulative frequency curve and you can't do it here. What you can do is you can right click, click on the graph, right click again. Okay, under the data set, just remove the graph by choosing this transparent line. Press OK and the graph will disappear. Okay, for illustration purpose, I will actually add some dots. Okay, so that we can use Microsoft Word to help us to construct this cumulative frequency curve instead. So press OK. All right, so now let's join all these points using the shape, which is a curve. So all you need to do is just click, don't need to drag, just click only. So click, go to the next point and click, go to the next point and click, so on and so forth. Join all the points. Okay, sometimes it's easier if you zoom in a bit more. Click. And for the last point, right, try to be as precise as possible. Once you're done with the last point, just double click and you'll see this curve here. And what we usually have to do is to find, let's say, the medium, and we want to shift this to a very nice point such that when students are reading it, it will not be ambiguous. We can click on the curve, right click, and edit points. So you can actually shift the cumulative frequency curve, okay, manipulate it until you reach the nice point here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now it's exactly on the line. Now, if you want, you can also right click. You can edit points. Right click again. You can add more points. So once you add more points, okay, you have more points to shift. But usually I will not recommend that because then your curve will be a bit out of shape.